Hello, thanks for joining us on In Toronto. My name is Veronica Chill. Do you ever find yourself singing in the shower? I admit I sometimes do myself. Well, on today's show, we'll meet the director and producer of Bathroom Divas and one of the finalists who transformed herself from singing in the shower to performing opera on stage. We'll also get some do-it-yourself tips with top 10 tools from the editor of the Canadian Home Workshop magazine. But first up, we'll find out how generous Canadians really are as we speak to an expert about different approaches to fundraising. So please stay with us. Joining me now is Bill Petrick, the president of Funding Matters. Welcome, Bill.
Thank you.
We're delighted to have you here. You're going to be talking to us about everything to do with fundraising and we're going to find out how generous Canadians really are.
Well, Canadians are a generous lot of people.
I like to think so, yeah.
We've been helping out our religious organizations, universities, hospitals, community groups for generations. Canada was built by pioneers. Canada has been, and the pioneers were volunteers. They were the first volunteers. They helped build Canada from coast to coast.
So are we really living up to the reputation as being generous, or how generous are we?
We're getting better.
Yeah?
Yeah, we're getting better all the time. I think we've been forced to get better. Canada's a young country, and Canada was founded by our founding fathers and mothers.
Yes.
And government has played an important role in helping build the country. So government had always been supporters in many ways of our healthcare system and of our education system, and creating a lot of the social infrastructure and social networks that we have today.
Well, how do we compare to other countries?
Well, what's happened is the Canadian government has decided to cut back on how much funding it actually makes to organizations. So it's really forced Canadians to become that much more generous. Recently, Revenue Canada published how much Canadians give on average. And I actually brought here an example.
Some money. Show me the money.
Show you the money? Well, this is the money of how much Canadians give on average every year.
And how much is here?
$285.
Okay.
As average Canadian donation on an annualized basis.
Okay, and is that a lot compared to other countries?
Well, it's been improving. It's been steadily improving, but against other countries, well, I've just brought in an example of our neighbors to the south.
Okay.
And our neighbors to the south, this is how much they give. So if you wanted to just do a...
Wow. This is a thicker pile. How much is in here?
We've got $1,500 US.
Wow.
Which is half of how much the American gives.
Oh, okay.
So they give $3,000 per American to charity each year. We give $285.
Not so good.
Well, we're getting better. We've seen the past week a very generous gift to Sick Kids Hospital of $30 million.
Which is fantastic. Absolutely fantastic.
$100 million to McMaster, to their health sciences. So we're starting to see Canadians becoming more generous, but more strategically generous. So the way I presented the way Canadians give in cash, that's very rarely does that ever happen. Canadians give primarily through checks, through events, but now they're starting to give through appreciated assets. Stocks, bonds, mutual funds, things that have appreciated, that have a high capital or a high tax rate on them.
Okay.
So instead of paying tax to the government, they're using the capital gains to be donating directly to charity, to minimizing the tax, to give back.
That's really, really, really important. Why is it so important for people to give back, though, in your opinion?
Well, two things. One is that there was a study that was done that those who are most generous live the longest. Mm-hmm. So it's a good thing for your audience out there. So go out there and start writing those donations, because if you want to live a long, healthy, happy, prosperous life.
Because it benefits the community as well. It's creating that community fabric. It's not just benefiting the charities, it's benefiting everybody.
Exactly, and everybody benefits. But secondly, the point is that if you, in your lifetime, have earned and grown your assets, you've worked hard to grow those assets, and you've got capital gains on the asset. The second benefit of giving is directing those capital appreciated assets to charity, because if you don't, you'll give it to the government. So you have a choice. Who do you want to give your money to?
Yeah. You certainly want to give back. I think I will. But this is amazing, the comparison. Now I want to ask you, Bill, why did you start this? Where did this stem from for you? Were you always this giving as a child?
I didn't have money to give, but I was always involved. And my family was always involved as volunteers and on a number of community fronts. And so what really became part of an area of interest for me grew into a profession. And it's one of the fastest growing professions in the country. The not-for-profit sector makes up over 10% of the Canadian workforce.
Wow. So talk about Funding Matters initiative.
Well, Funding Matters works with hospitals, universities, long-term care centers, community, cultural groups, in helping them raise money. We sort of bridge the gap between where the organization is and where they need to be. It isn't just money, but it's also strategy, communication. We work with individuals as well about trying to find the most tax-efficient way for them to give.
So you provide various approaches to it.
Absolutely.
Very strategic. Thank you so much, Bill, and thanks for bringing the money. If you want further information, check out www.fundingmatters.com. We're taking a short break, but when we come back, we'll find out about Bathroom Divas. So you want to be another opera star?